Welcome today to Biz Story Bytes, and I'm super excited because I met this amazing lady called Carrie Severson. I want to introduce you, Carrie, because there's so many cool business stories, and you're in the business story world, really. Like, Carrie just helps to bring out your story, and she does it intuitively as well, soulfully and intuitively. So, Carrie, just share a little bit about who you are and what your business is.
Sure. So, Carrie, I am the Soulful Storyteller trainer, and I like to help women around the world use their story to not just transform their own life, but transform the life of their audience. And so we do that by getting aligned with soul stories that we might be afraid to share. So I pull stories out of people and I help them feel really good about crafting them and sharing them. And we move through the fear of sending them out into the world. So I do a lot of mindset stuff. I do a lot of intuitive work to help you heal a story that's not fully healed. Because I can pick it up if it's caught in your throat or if it's caught in your belly. I might suggest a couple of journaling exercises or maybe put that story down for a little bit and let's look over here. Storytelling isn't just about your business and your brand and goals. It's about your personal goals as well, and about getting aligned with your mind, your heart, your soul, being present and being good with the fact that your story is going to live on somewhere and attract new opportunities to you while giving the audience an opportunity to take your story and learn from it. So it's a beautiful law of attraction tool. There's great energy in a story, and I work with people to kind of get in alignment with that energy.
Absolutely love it. I love it. And I love how intuitive you are. Like, Carrie just has this gift to be able to pick up the energy of a story that's really resonating with the person who is there going through the motions of how to get that story out of them or how to choose which story to start with. And I think that is just such a unique gift.
Right. So you were at a point where you were thinking of sharing a business story or the Charlie story. And all you had to really say was, Charlie, my horse Charlie. And I was like, yes. So there's, I can feel that. And I think that I'm such a big believer that we're supposed to share stories after they're healed or they're in the process of healing so that we don't consistently bring up old wounds. And when someone is working through that process and really wants to get a story out, but isn't quite there yet, I work with that person to sort of find a way to heal that story faster. But in the meantime, let's look over here in left field and pull this story out because this can serve you too. So it's a lot of healing. It's a lot of processing and discovery work on my part, which is fun. I love listening to someone tell their story and say, okay, I just got a hit on the word chaos. What does this mean to you? And they're like, oh, funny. That means blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, let's tell that story. But if you're stuck in a story, there's so many reasons you're stuck. It's because it's the wrong story to tell at the wrong time, or it's because we're not healed, or we're trying to tell it in a way that doesn't want to be told. And I pick up on all that stuff. So, yeah, it's really interesting. What I do find very common is that we don't give our stories enough credit because we don't think that anyone is going to care that we just went through this or that someone's going to learn from this. So part of my actual storytelling ability is helping you craft it in a way that will take your gigantic experience and break it down into a slice so that someone can absorb it. So your huge Charlie story could easily be 3 or 4 different pieces, 3 or 4 different stage performances. I mean, you learn so much. You continue to learn from him, and you can't tell it all in one story. And so working with someone like me helps kind of break it up so that it doesn't become so overwhelming and you don't stop. it's like one of the first things to go, right? Everyone wants to write a book, but it's so huge. And so you never start. So break it up, slice of life. And it's so thrilling. The first time that I was published on Redbook, which is a women's publication, it had to do with my love life. I'm 38, I'm single. And this was last year. I'd gone on a date and this man told me that I missed my opportunity to get married and have babies. And so I was like, I'm going to write about that. And I did. I pitched it to an editor. She loved it, that I was taking a stand for me. I didn't care what came of it. It was mine. But that opportunity led me to several other writing opportunities, several speaking gigs, brought in all these clients who were coming to me and saying, help me get published. And that was really why I launched a storytelling business. I hadn't thought of it before. And I was like, oh, well, you just go do this and you send it over and you email it. And she's like, no, people are like, no, help me do this. I'm like, I guess I can teach you. But I hadn't thought of it until I got published with a super personal piece. So that's how storytelling has impacted my professional business. I wrote a piece about my love life and it kickstarted my storytelling business.
That is crazy good. That is so amazing. And at the time, it was something that not only is it really personal, like you could have taken massive offense at that and gone in a completely other direction, and it actually like kickstarted your whole story.
It did. I was like, I remember he said that to me, and I was like, okay, I gotta go. And then I was like, I'm gonna write about this. This is ES. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. So, and that proves that, a story doesn't have to be this heart-wrenching, really painful, like big painful story. Like that was a moment on a date.
Yep. A moment, literally seconds. And it became a turning point in my career. Storytelling is a magical gift. And once you step into your own stories, the universe supports it. So it's a fantastic ride.
Oh man, I got goosebumps. I love it. Because it is it's a real trust factor to trust yourself, to be able to back yourself enough to be able to share outside of a group of people who you trust and you know that you're going to be loved no matter what, and then be able to put that story out on a more publicly. It's like wearing your heart on your sleeve.
For sure.
It takes your breath away quite often.
But yeah, so the risk though, there's always a reward, because even though you can't control how an audience is going to respond, you can still take action behind it and send that published piece out to an organization in your community who might be interested in bringing you on as a public speaker. And then who knows, there might be a client sitting in the audience. And so it just acts as a stepping stone into a greater good. And I don't know, I look at stories as turning points, triggers, foundational work that we're all processing our own stuff to begin with. And if you're learning something so valuable, why not turn it around to the person 3-4 steps behind you and say, hey, try this. This is what worked for me. So I like to help people do that.
Oh, I love it, Carrie. And if there was one piece of advice that you would love to share with up-and-coming storytellers, or maybe someone who doesn't really know even if they have a story or where to start, like what would your advice be to them?
I actually just wrote this today. I know. If you've learned a lesson within the last year that allowed you great growth, that is a story. And if you're willing to share your growth and you believe that a certain audience would be interested in hearing what you have to say, that is a story. And so sit down and write it. It doesn't have to be big. 800 words. But there's probably a magazine in your local community or a publication online that would be interested in checking it out. So.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Carrie. Your
You're welcome.
wisdom and soulfulness and courage to step into your own story so now you can help others.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, my pleasure. And before you go, if people want to find you and they want to be able to express the story that's inside them and go on a journey with you, how do they get in touch?
So my Facebook group is the Soulful Storyteller, and my website is carrieseverson.com. And there's a contact us page on my website. You're more than welcome to send me a note that way and come directly to me, and I'll send you a note back.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much. Continue helping people with their stories, and I look forward to seeing more of your stories come out as well.
Thank you.